Our good friend Duane Scott Cerny, he's got a Chicago connection, and he wants to add to tonight's themed show. Bring it on.
What's in your attic?
Hi, Duane Scott Cerny.
Hey, Amber. I'm back in your attic. I didn't realize how many great Chicago memorabilia pieces you had up there.
Well, I have been known to get around.
You have been. Oh, and here's what's actually kind of cool. I think people should know about. So Chicago is totally known for its architecture. Every famous architect in the world wants to have a building built in Chicago, but we've got a history of this because the whole city burned down in 1871, giving us a complete to start. So people get confused. There were two fairs, one in 1893, that was the Columbian Exposition, and then the fair we're going to talk about today, which is the 1933 Chicago Century of Progress. And remember, the Depression was going on, bad times, people are bummed, and the city fathers wanted to offer something exciting, something positive, something optimistic. And this, when you start seeing the images I'm going to show you, it's really where the future began. I mean, this is Art Deco, futuristic, out there, and it would influence really the entire country because Chicago is really the first modern city. So, like I like to say, the future was yesterday. Russell, let's take a look.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that cool? So, and there's this kind of little skyline of the city just to give you a feel for the times. And then this next one, here's an actual postcard from the fair. And you can see the kind of this modern architecture that's got the skyline on the right and the Ford Motor Building. We can go to the third one. Okay, now this is cool. This is what I'm trying to show you. So this is a representation of the Federal Building. It was one of the, again, Art Deco buildings that was there at the fair. Okay, and then we'll go to the next one. And here's an actual, and here's a souvenir of that building that you could buy there at the fair, and you could either like drag it around with you all day, or they'd mail it to you, or they'd mail it to a friend. There's the back of it. So this is a cast metal souvenir building, which is kind of the theme that we're talking about. And people obviously collect these. These are really desirable.
Now, is that building still intact?
Oh, no, none of this. This entire fair ran from 33 to 34. The only fair to make money, but then it was all torn down. So it was these were structures. Yeah, nothing's left except what I'm showing you today.
Okay.
Okay, we can see the next one. Okay, yeah. So this is like an official pictures, and this is a the Travel and Transportation Building. So it gives you a representation of what that looked like. That's the cover to a souvenir magazine. And then we'll go to the next one. That the actual building looks like as a souvenir. Now, this one, this is out of my collection. This is a lamp. So it's darn cool and really heavy, cast in aluminum. But they made smaller versions, and mostly they were like paperweights. And those are really, really desirable too. But if you think about it, building's gone. Maybe you can get a postcard, but otherwise you can actually see a physical representation of what the building actually looked like. And let's see the next one. Okay, go ahead, Amber. There's your direct. This is the Haviland Tower Thermometer. This is an actual building, 200 feet high, and the letters were 10 feet high, so you can actually read the temperature from really like blocks away. This thing was enormous.
Yes. Checked your temperature, huh?
Well, and speaking of checks, how do we do this? Here's a mug from the Czechoslovakian Pavilion. Now, again, look at this building. This is 1933. This is really modern. This is Art Deco or Art Moderne. And there were a lot of pavilions for different either nationalities or organizations or whatever. They didn't have a souvenir building of this building. That was the closest I could get to find it. Something.
Now, do you know, was it a Czech architect who designed that building?
It was. There were a number of different architects that worked on different buildings. I did in my research, though. This is kind of tied to what we talked about last week. Frank Lloyd Wright was not asked to participate because he was so disagreeable, and nobody wanted to work with him. Drew, Google it. I didn't know that. I always thought, where's Frank Lloyd Wright? Not here.
Very good.
Next one. And we're almost there. Okay, this is probably my favorite. This is really more of a fantasy architecture from the fair. This is when you put like all the buildings together, what would it look like? Kind of give you the skyline. This is a single bookend, and then we show you the next. This is what See how it says 1934 on there? So there's actually a pair of bookends. Now, this is Flash Gordon. I mean, how cool is this?
That and Batman, yes.
Yeah, you're right. I just rarely see anything. It's so modern. It's so futuristic. And again, 33. The last one is the Hall of Science. Again, this is a lamp, and this is very heavy. This thing probably weighs like 10, 12 pounds. Cast aluminum, but a representation of an actual structure from the fair. I think they made smaller versions of it. I haven't seen too many of them floating around, but kind of just gives you a flavor of architecture of the time and its influence on the future. And 2022, here we are.
Wow, very cool. Thank you so much, Duane Scott Cerny, at that look into Chicago's past, or the future of the past. And we want to thank you for arranging to meet our guests tonight as well.
Famous Chicagoans. I'm so excited. These guys are Hall of Famers. Incredible.
All right, yes. Well, thank you very much for arranging their interviews, and we'll see you the next time when you come out of my attic.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's in your attic?